One of you guys asked me to talk about this controversy. GameSpot released an article saying that an Elden Ring PC mod has been released which allows you to pause the game. To which a commentator and many other people said that the game isn't meant to be paused. If you can't enjoy the game without pausing it, then the game isn't for you. It's not gatekeeping or exclusionary, it's just that the game is not made for you. First of all, I have absolutely no problem with gatekeeping. Especially when there's a franchise that is renowned for being difficult. Like, that is the selling point. This is why the people who play this game play it because it's difficult. And then when you have a group of people who aren't even interested in the game, like, you know they're not going to play it, but they're trying to make this argument that access and difficulty is tied to one another. So if the difficulty isn't lowered, then the game is exclusionary. Those people need to F off. I don't want to hear from them. They need to be gatekept. Like, you need to ignore them. You need to turn their backs at them. Like, those are not people that come in good faith, and they're going to ruin the community. Because the community is here for a hard game. If the game isn't hard, then the community leaves. It's not rocket science. So, I'm not against gatekeeping. But with that said, you know, sometimes a broken clock is right twice a day. I do agree with GameSpot for two reasons. Like, number one, it's a mod. So, I'm fine with mods. They're not part of the official game. Like, if you want to make a mod that gives you invincible powers or whatever, I don't care. I mean, this used to be when I grew up. We used to have this program called Dirty Little Helper. And Dirty Little Helper would give you access to cheats and trainers for the game, which allowed you to bypass the game's difficulty. But again, I had no problem with that. Like, what people do with their own game in their own bedroom, I don't mind. If it's a mod, it's fine. I mean, how are you going to stop people from modding their game anyway? There's no way. Now, if you have a community of people, like you got a Discord server or you got a forum where you like to hang out with other people who played Elden Ring and you share gaming experiences and stories, and then a twat comes in who modded this game and is capable of finishing it while using trainers and cheat codes and things that make the game easier, and you want to ostracize that person, you don't want to talk with them, that's fair. You know, like, freedom of association is a thing. In fact, it's a human right. Is the concept, right? Like, you should be able to associate with whom you want, and by extension, you should be able to choose not to associate with people you don't like for whatever reason. So, yeah, I kind of get it. But in the case of pausing the game, I don't think, like, it has to do with the game's difficulty. If anything, it has to do with frustration. Because there have been many times where my phone was ringing, or when my wife finished cooking dinner, and I was during the middle of a boss, and I couldn't do anything. So I had to choose, like, do I just get up and, you know, like, waste all the time that I invested doing that boss fight up until that point? Do I risk losing all of the runes that I have collected up until that point? And it's just frustrating, right? Like, it's not difficult or whatever. At the end of the day, you can just all F4 if you really want to. But it's annoying. It's vexing. I don't think, like, any game that doesn't have a multiplayer component shouldn't have the ability to pause. I don't see how it simplifies the game. Now, if you could pause the game and by some way you could trivialize the difficulty, yeah, sure. But again, it's not really about difficulty, it's just annoyance. So, I do agree that there should be a pause feature. I do understand why there's a mod involved. Especially when you have, like, someone at the door or the phone is ringing or something like that. Like, why? It doesn't have a multiplayer aspect to it. It's not like you'd even get bragging rights for playing the game without a pause feature. I mean, imagine, you know, like, you go into this Discord community and it's like, oh, I finished the game without pausing. And everyone's like, oh my god, oh, how did you do it? You know, it's not like that. So I'm not going to be ridiculous, and whenever I see that a game journalist actually says something that's common sense, I would attack it just because tribalism. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, tribalism is effective, and most of the time, game journalists are wrong, but it's good to act like reasonable people every now and then. I mean, it is reasonable what they're asking for. You know, a mod that allows you to pause. That's a very popular mod. I mean, you can see that the community likes it. Democracy has spoken. A lot of people are downloading this mod, which is why GameSpot is even making an article of it. So, no, I don't see it's a problem. Please stop freaking out about it because you look ridiculous. I mean, you don't have to install the mod; it's option. And if this mod bothers you, like there are other mods that simplify the game even further. There are mods that I have seen which gives you ridiculous spirits that you can summon, which are absolutely overpowered, and they simplify the game a lot. Like that's a mod that you could complain, and you can say, oh well, that trivializes the game and blah blah blah. But like people aren't complaining about those mods, are they? They're complaining about the ability to pause. I mean, it's ridiculous. And again, like what do you want? Do you want the mod support to be removed? I mean, if you don't want mod support, just play it on the console. I guess like this is the only advantage that consoles have now. Like it allows Dark Soul-like games to be difficult. So yeah, if you play it on PlayStation, there's no way to mod. But on the PC, there are many mods, and many of them actually trivialize the game. But again, like this has been since the dawn of time. There's a lot of people who are doing this. Let me know what you think though, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.